There's a quiet exhaustion for the majority of the women out there right now. We are expected to balance who we are, who we want to be, and who we're expected to be, and we're fighting for that. So, we're here today to talk about what it's like to be a woman in a man's world.
Mm,
And if you're a man, you should listen to this. Understand your woman better.
yeah, honestly, maybe a little bit. Get
Uh,
into the first one.
Also, yeah, welcome to
Oh yeah,
Velvet and Venom.
welcome back. Hi guys.
Okay,
Let's get into it.
we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start with the the way that
Possibly a hot take.
I guess kind of. I think this is a thing that a lot of women feel, but probably either don't realize it or don't talk about it. Is
Or
how
make it work.
yeah is like how the 9 to 5 works better for men than it does for women
Hmm.
most of the time, especially if you have kids.
Yeah, it's not all the time. Like, it's just like I don't know. I think it boils down to a lot of like mostly childcare. Like that's when your kids need to be in school. Like I don't know. I feel like it kind of does work a little bit better for a man's schedule than it does, or a man's day to day than a woman's day to day.
It does in a way where probably the majority of women, I don't want to say all women because there are some good men out there that balance the weight of life with their women.
And jobs that do the same thing and whatnot. So obviously, yeah, disclaimer, we're not including everybody in this and like talking about all as just like a non-starter and leaving it there.
It's more something that I think is more common than it should be.
Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
is like after you work a 9 to 5, you're expected to take care of the kids, do the dishes, clean the house, take the dog out, make dinner.
Oh, but still have time for you.
Yeah.
You still have to be gorged. You still have to, can't have a hair out of place.
Yeah, can't have a hair at a place, gotta be clean, gotta be,
Hmm.
all the things. And so I feel like men don't have that same expectation as like as a majority.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of different situations, like serious and stupid ones, that you
Yes.
see those double standards.
We're also expected in the workplace to show up every day with the same like drive, the same energy, the same person that you're supposed to be on a consistent basis, and that's just not how women work. That's not how our cycle works. We're constantly changing. We change every day. Every week is a
Hmm.
different cycle for us, and so we're constantly feeling different. We never feel the same
That is true,
day to
yeah.
day.
And like, yeah, there's no way to like elaborate on that. That was a really good point.
Like
You're constantly changing, and there needs to be room for that.
yeah, like men have a 24-hour cycle, so they reset at the end of each day. And so they have a better chance of showing up more consistently as the same person, I guess, at work and handling the same load when I think it's an expectation for women as well that it shouldn't be that expectation for them.
Interesting. That's something I hadn't really thought about before. Something that I think about, and this is also like completely situational, is walking down the street can be, or just like being in public, can be a jarring experience. I feel like sometimes I experience it definitely more so when I'm alone or in bigger or different cities than I'm used to being in. But yeah, I feel like walking down the street can be a debacle.
Yeah, I mean, not only when it comes to like being catcalled and things like that shit is always uncomfortable and it always sucks. But there's also like just especially at night, like walking even to your car after work
Hmm.
or something like that. Like it's scary for a woman and it shouldn't be. And I don't think men feel that fear that we do when we're in situations like that.
Actually, one thing I want to touch on for a second is the weird thing is it's not only you that's scared. Is I don't know if this is something you've experienced, but like my family will get scared. One time I was working basically down in the big city, and I had to take the train down there, and I was walking from the train station to where I was working, and everybody in my family was like, "Oh my gosh, are you gonna be okay?" Like, talk to me the entire way there. Like, there are other people that are worried, but like brother leaves the house every single day and nobody's worried. Like that's not true. People are worried, but like there is a different standard there. Like, you know,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like I need to if I'm walking, I never really find myself walking alone like at night.
Mhm.
It's like unless like I work grocery stores at night like for my part-time job. And like but it's always the parking lots are always so busy. Like I'm never out past like 9 o'clock, so I don't feel like that too much of
Mhm.
that fear. But I have little trauma dump have had instances in my life where I've been walking, at night on the street at 2 in the morning and have been almost abducted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've told you that story.
Yeah.
So, like, it is terrifying, especially for younger women.
It is, yeah. And like I think I kind of I don't know how to phrase this, but like I grew up with one of the biggest worry warts of a mother. I love her, but like there are things that I just like instinctively do now. Like I always park under like a light if I can, or just like there are things that I do subconsciously to like keep myself safe that I don't even think about on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
and men don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, there's probably like some men that do, but like yeah, on the average, probably not.
Yeah. And so I do want to say that like if you're a woman and you are walking out late at night after work or something like that, like take a buddy with you.
Take a buddy, or just don't be afraid to carry pepper spray, carry some sort of personal safety device. Like bring back wanting to keep yourself safe.
Do you have any tips for staying safe in situations like that?
I don't know. I've heard there's a lot that like you hear. I'll just go with my number one. Being aware of your surroundings and the things going on around you, that's your number one. Like if you know what's happening, you can figure out what your plan of action needs to be. So like making sure that like if you're in an area you don't really know all that well, or like something like that, just making sure that you're aware of what's going on and like who's around you, little things like that. Like story, I my keys straight up got stolen out of the back of a Claire's store one time. And I didn't realize that I was getting my stuff stolen. So I didn't look at the guy. He fully came up to me. We had a full conversation. And I told him where the bathroom was in the mall. And he left with my keys in his pocket because I fully just didn't realize that A, he was in the back room taking my things, and B, that like I should have been looking for a description so that when I called the cops later, I could have told them what he looked like, but I couldn't because
Mhm.
I literally like I was just like, oh, the bathroom's that way, and then couldn't find my keys. That's a different story. Like he was in the back room. It wasn't just like I picked a customer. He
Mhm.
yeah.
When you're doing your day-to-day things,
Mhm.
like going to work and things like that, things that you do repeatedly, I would say change it up. Don't park in the same place every day. Don't walk the same way to work every day. Don't take the same street every day. Like change up your routine because most of the time when things like that happen to women, it is planned,
Mhm.
and they are watching you, and so I'd say just change up your routine every now and then so that they can't expect what you're gonna do.
That is a really great. That's a really good point. I think another one is also the obvious. Trust your gut. If you have a bad feeling about something and you feel like something's off, there's a pretty good chance that something is off, and you should trust your gut on that front. This next one, I know I think we both have some stories, but I think you more so than me have
um
some stories on this one.
yeah, we're gonna go back to the workplace for a second here. Sexism in the workplace,
Mhm.
I think it's way too common, especially in like I don't know, just like regular jobs, like retail. I think a lot of people work retail, and I'm sure it shows up in other jobs as well, but
Oh,
that's
110%.
that's just where I've experienced it the most is in
Mhm.
retail. um
I've experienced it a couple of times, like working in doctors' offices, not ever by like the doctors or anything, but like there are instances like it's it's a very commonplace, and like I think there's a general misunderstanding about what sexual harassment and like just like the things you can and can't say to people in the workplace. Like there are just some things you shouldn't be talking about boobs at work. You shouldn't be talking about a lot of things at work. Like there's time and place, and there's also like people you can talk about that with, but like not everybody. You don't just go up to random coworkers and start talking about how nice their butt is, or how you thought that they would be worse at this job because they're a woman.
Mhm.
Like,
Like I I know for a fact that there are women that go for jobs and they are turned down just for the fact that they are women
mhm,
because the men in the higher position that is hiring don't think that they can do the job. I've seen people not get promotions because they're women and people don't think they can do the job.
or with that, a lot of queer people get passed up for jobs, or trans people get passed up for jobs as well, just because, like, it's insane. It's I don't under I oh, it makes me angry.
Yeah, like I've literally been told in the workplace that like I can't do my job or I won't succeed in my job because I'm a girl.
Mhm.
And it's just like and then I end up doing the job better than them, better than the men.
Yep. One of my older sisters has worked with forklifts like literally probably her entire adult career. And she still will get passed up. And she's fully certified. Like there is absolutely no reason to be passing her up for a job. She gets passed up many a times just because she applies for like warehouse jobs and stuff like that, and they're not what she's looking for.
Yeah, like
Or the other way around.
it's crazy. Like even if you have the experience, you have the right resume and you'll
Hmm.
still get turned down just because you're a woman.
Yeah.
And it's I just think it's crazy. And I think that nothing is said about it, nothing is done about it, and they just get away with doing that.
But then your bosses and like people higher up to you can come and be like, oh well, I'm not gonna hire this demographic anymore because like they just don't work, or they like whatever. That is crazy to hear. Like, hey, like we said earlier in our disclaimer, with this, it's not always. There are women who have killer work ethics, who could like lift fucking boulders with a pinky. Like it's nothing. And they won't even get looked at.
Yeah. Oh, this is kind of tangent, but like also like being a person that's like heavily tattooed and heavily pierced and you know, like my hair obviously is a certain kind of taste and I've like it's I've been told that I don't look professional. I can't be professional because of the
Mm-hmm.
way I look. Like I've been judged based off of what I choose to do with my body and not who I am, which I
Yeah.
think it's like 2026, like why are we like assuming that people can't do a job based on like if they have tattoos and piercings and things like that?
You're gonna lose out on a good employee because of a couple of holes in their face.
I just think
Okay.
it's ridiculous.
I also think also let's just I'm gonna throw out there, people with gauges 9 times out of 10 are some of the sweetest people you will ever meet. And like
Mhm.
yeah, they may scare you, but like you will never find somebody who is more down to earth or knows what it's like to be a human than somebody, yeah, with gauges,
Yeah. So,
or just like any sort of body modification.
mhm.
They're all I feel like they're always going to be the nicest people 9 times out of 10.
They
I don't,
usually they are.
yeah, like
Usually they're the most like down to earth.
mhm,
So,
yeah, and like maybe that's just us because we're also heavily tattooed, we're heavily pierced. Well, I wouldn't call myself heavily pierced, but and so like maybe we just gravitate towards those people more. But like in my experience, that's you know that's the
mhm.
experience I had. Oh my goodness.
This one makes me angry.
This one makes me angry too, and I think it.
I'm angry about all of this.
I'm also angry about all this, and I think each of these in a way could be their own videos, but this in specific I think could be its own thing because it actually fills me with rage that men own and are operating companies servicing women's only needs, tampons, underwear, like things like that. I'm like, no wonder yeast infections are so prevalent. Underwear are not built for like.
Have you ever seen those? Oh, I saw this TikTok video the other day. This is tangent, but I saw this TikTok video and it was this girl. I don't remember what store she was at. Maybe it was like a Walmart or something. But there was like a pair of underwear and she had posted it on TikTok because literally like the bottom of the underwear where you're supposed to put your coochie was like that
Yeah,
that big.
like, and some of my favorite comedians are the
The
comedians that will talk about that. They will talk about how, like, why are we why are we choosing underwear where you have to pick a side, where you have to like, you have to like
dude, I
pick sides at the end of the day.
I sat there reading the comments on that TikTok for so long. They were so funny.
It's like, it infuriates me, especially on like me being somebody who creates clothing. It infuriates me that, like, sure, we'll get into like the nitty gritty of it. Why do women's pockets, women, like, I don't, women's clothes are not built for women to be wearing them. It is insane. It is crazy. And like, I don't know, it makes me angry. Like, here's another thing that makes me angry: when you're making clothes for adult women, but they are not at all like, what's the word I'm looking for? D- Designed, like when they look like they're for young girls, but they're definitely marketed towards adult women. I'm like, why are we like fetishizing that? Like,
Mhm.
why is that a thing?
Mhm.
Adult women don't need little bows on their underwear companies, just so you know. And another thing we shouldn't be sexualizing: boobs.
We should
they're
not.
they're literally for breastfeeding children. That
Yeah.
is crazy.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Like, actually, I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't get why we're sexualizing boobs as much as we do. It's crazy. They are literally for breastfeeding children, and that's it. Me.
Women shouldn't be sexualized in general.
I also. Oh, what would the world look like though? It would be such a beautiful world.
It just reminds me of the men that are like, "Well, you were wearing that. Of course you got essayed or something." You know what I mean?
And
You were asking for it.
no, and literally, I'll quote Delilah here. She has a part in which song is it? I think it's "I Wish a Bitch Would," where she's like, "Yeah, you want to blame women for what they're wearing, but that little girl was 11 years old. She was wearing like jeans and a hoodie. What do you mean? It has nothing to do with what women are wearing. It has everything to do with we are being sexualized from any age on,
Mhm.
and it creates a standard of like the ability to think that we're just objects,
Mhm.
sexual objects at the end of the day."
Mhm. Yeah. I think well going back to like beauty standards are like made by men and things like that. Like the beauty standards that are put onto us, they are to what's the word? Like they are made for men. Like that's what the standard is what men want. I guess you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah, for the male gaze.
so yeah, exactly. Like how your hair should look or what your skin should look like and like all those things like that's all based
Hmm.
on like a men's perspective of what you should look like. And I'm sure we'll talk about this at another point, but like body hair, like I don't understand why body hair is like not okay and
Hmm.
like this big scary thing that people like need to like hide
I
and get
Yeah,
rid of.
I do under there are some girls who just like being hairless. That's a completely different thing. What we are talking about is, if you want to grow out your armpit hair and somebody is telling you that it is gross or you shouldn't, grow out your armpit hair. If you want to grow your fucking bush out, grow your bush out. Like, own it. There is nothing wrong with body hair at all. The
Yeah.
only reason, like, with that, I'm not like, who literally wants to pay $17 for a razor? when I could go get a man's disposable razor for
Yeah,
$5.
it's also a lot of maintenance. Like that shit grows back in a day, so you have to shave it like
Ingrown
every
hairs,
2 days.
razor bumps.
Yeah, but if you shave it too soon, then it's like, oh, then you're gonna get razor bumps and like and all that. So
And then you can't shave for days because you like it, I don't know. I've always equated that to a rash. It probably isn't, but like I feel like it's some sort of skin
what
irritation.
changed my perspective on body hair was figuring out that like the whole thing of like women not having body hair comes from men wanting us to look younger and like look more adolescent than we are
hmm
by not having body hair. And I think that gives me like big pedophile vibes, and I just so I grow out my body hair now. Like I
Big
do
weird
shave
big
my
dick.
legs because I do prefer my legs to be shaved. I don't know
But
why.
that's like what I was talking about earlier. There are just like some aspects where you're like, okay, I want to grow this out. I want to shave this, whatever. But if you're like systematically being told that you need to shave that or cut that or whatever, don't do it anymore.
Mhm.
Like if someone's telling you not to do it anyway.
Mhm. I'm gonna quote Delilah on this one. I want to see Bush. I'm talking feral as fuck.
hmm
Mhm. If
No
you don't
way.
know who we're talking about, it's Delilah Bond, and you should def go listen to her.
Yeah, I
Talk about women
definitely listen.
empowering women. She is like the definition of that.
Yeah, and she like it's not even just that. She talks about what being human is like in America for somebody who is not even from America.
Yeah.
Like she will call it out the way that it is. Yeah, it's oh we love Delilah here in this house.
Another point is swearing being seen as trashy for women, but not for men. Like when I swear, oh, I'm a woman. I shouldn't be doing that. That's not attractive. But like a man can swear, and it's like, oh,
hmm
okay, you're cool, I guess.
Oh yeah, big balls on that guy.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Also like I feel like there are educated ways to swear.
there
Like
are.
I don't use the F word unless like I have a reason to be using the F word. And it's not because like I girl, if you had met me back in elementary or middle school, it was F word every day. It was all day F word. Like I was just throwing it around cuz I could.
Mhm.
But like now I use it when it has a place and like when it has a purpose.
Mhm.
As all other swear words, I don't know. There's there can be a place for them.
Yeah, like there is a time and place for swearing, but like I'm not gonna not swear because I am a woman and it doesn't seem appropriate because of the fact that I'm a woman.
hmm
Like I will use swearing elegantly and
Elegantly. I love the way you said that.
and like unless I'm pissed and then I will sound like a trucker, but yeah.
Yeah. But also I feel like there is still validity behind passionate angry swearing. Like I still feel like that's there its place is there.
Mhm.
You can be angry and be like, yeah, ah, 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 ah. All of those were swear words by the way. Um and still it still has its place, you know?
Yeah. We're gonna get into like I want to call this like intellectual spaces, where you're either in a group or some type of situation where you're speaking, um, and coming up with ideas and adding to conversations and things like that, and being disregarded because you're a woman with an opinion.
Keep unfolding what you're saying.
Like, for instance, like if I'm at a meeting and we're coming up with ideas for something, right?
Yeah.
And the men in the room are putting in ideas and it's getting written down and it's getting talked about, but
Mm-hmm.
I say something and it's just glazed over and move on to the next topic.
Or yes. It happens. The worst part is where am I going with this? It's a very dehumanizing experience in no matter what like environment you're in. You
Mhm.
could be with your friends and that happens, sucks.
No, it can
It
happen
can
anywhere.
like when it happens with your family, sucks. Happening at work, it blows anytime,
It just
really.
happens way more than it should.
Hmm. I also
And
just
people
think
don't even realize that they're doing it. It's just like automatic.
we should be opening up spaces for people to give their opinion
Mhm.
wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
I also think that while we're talking about like opinions, this kind of really doesn't go into opinions, so it's more emotion related. I think there's something to be said about how important it is that you are talking through things. Suppressing your anger is oh, it's the like I don't even it will rip parts away from you of yourself that you need long term, but it'll also make you into a person you didn't want to be. It'll drag you down and like you'll feel like a husk of yourself. And that's where like I don't know, I feel like that's where you see nagging in relationships more.
Anger, when it comes to men, anger is seen as powerful and assertive and necessary at times. But when a woman is angry, it's seen as problematic and you're
Dramatic.
unstable, emotional, like you're
Mhm.
something wrong with you. Like
Erratic.
yeah, and you can even date this back to like going back to like I don't know what age it was or what years, but like I know like back in the day like people, women showing those kind of things, like you were literally thrown in mental hospitals and
Mass hysteria.
yeah, and tested on like there was something wrong with you when
Mhm.
it's just like women are seen as are like told to be so like quiet and accepting and passive and calm, and like we do have anger just like anybody else, like we're human just like anybody else, and so when we get those feelings we automatically suppress them and keep them inside instead of lashing out or talking about why we're angry or that we're angry, and
Mhm.
that turns into irritation and irritability and um like snapping at people and things like that. So I think a lot of times it shows up in relationships and marriages when the woman doesn't express why they're angry or that they're angry to their partner, and ends up showing up in nagging and irritation and things like that to the
Mhm.
men.
Or just like being so broken down to the point where like what's the point in bringing it up?
Mhm.
Like what realistically what's going to change? There I at this point my better option is changing myself because he's not going to.
Mhm. Yeah, so I just like if you're angry with someone or angry at a situation, like I'm not saying that you should lash out and like act crazy and like take out your anger on people, but
Mhm.
like it's okay to be angry and to be angry and not target it at anybody and just let it out and talk about it with someone. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
100%. I also just think it's okay to be angry, but also it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to just be sad. It's okay to just be confused. You know, like you can feel those things.
yeah, I think women are often labeled as emotional and overly emotional compared to men and things like that. And it's not that we're overly emotional, it's that on majority we feel things more deeply than men. We think about things more deeply than men. We're more self-aware than men most of the time. And so and like we constantly are thinking and going in our brains. Like I don't think men experience that the same way that women do. Like we're constantly thinking about what we have to do and like how we feel and like all these things. And so yeah, like I don't think that it has to do with being emotional. I just think we mentally have more on our plates than men do.
I also think we just have different color wheels when it comes to emotions and things like that. Like we see different shades of colors, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and it can, I think in some relationships, if you're, and this isn't this isn't for all relationships. Like there are emotional men out there. There
Oh
are
yeah.
emotionally mature men out there. I have one myself. And but I think in a lot of relationships, the women they feel things deeply and think so deeply, and the men don't, they don't meet at that same level emotionally. And so I think a lot of the time the woman is left feeling very lonely in a way that they're not being met as deep as they want to be met. And for me it's like I like to say it as like I'm a well that nobody can reach the bottom of. Like there's so many layers to me, and there's so many so much depth, and like nobody can reach the bottom of that.
Hmm.
And that can feel super lonely.
I think that's fair. And I also, we've talked about this before, and we've just kind of talked about how like change and personal growth in and of itself is can be kind of lonely.
Mhm. And I do, well, this is kind of, I know this is all kind of tangent, but I do want to say like it sometimes the men are emotionally deep in immature in the way that they will meet you at that level.
Hmm.
But sometimes it comes down to like the way that you're communicating. Like I'm not the greatest at communicating my emotions and my feelings to people that I'm close to.
Hmm.
So it's not always the other person's fault that they're not meeting you at that depth. Like you need to communicate and show them your depth for them to be able to meet you there. So just always look at yourself before you assume the other person is just not there.
Something I also struggle with is I will go, ah, this is what I need. So then changes will start to happen and things will be done and whatnot. And then I'll realize I that is actually not what I needed, and what I needed was this, but I wasn't able to communicate that properly. And so then I'll go back and be like, well, this is actually what I needed. And so lines get blurred and stuff like that. And so communication really is important when it comes to speaking your needs and what you need in a relationship and how you are feeling in terms of like emotions.
Mhm.
One thing I think that we both, I don't think we've really specifically touched on, but one thing I think we both need to talk about a little bit is when like men sleeping around and not considered like, oh, he's an alpha, he's like, he's the top dog. But a woman's a whore 9 times out of 10. Like
Mhm.
it won't ever be anything. Or also with that, being a woman in any sort of non-monogamous relationship, where like everything is consensual, everything like that, I feel like also you're looked at differently
Mhm.
than other people
Yeah,
or men.
we slut shame women, but we don't slut shame men.
Hmm. So either bring back all the slut shaming or none at all. Obviously, I'm joking. We shouldn't be slut shaming anybody. We shouldn't be yucking people's yums. Like,
Unless you are hurting people, then do
yes.
what you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else. Like if you're sleeping around in a way where you're breaking people's hearts, like don't do that shit. But if you know, if you're doing you and the other person is on the same level as you with the what the situation is, then whatever, who cares?
Also, make sure that you're taking care of yourself and just like do the things you need to. If you need to go get tested, go get tested. If you need to, whatever it is, just make sure that you're also taking care of yourself because you, at the end of the day, matter as well.
Yeah, one more thing I want to touch on is um when it comes to standards of what a woman should be, I think there are standards on how we should dress and how we should present ourselves when it comes to what we wear. And I feel like if you're a woman, like, and you want to wear jorts or you want to wear sweatpants and a baggy tee, and you want to wear something that's not technically feminine, then wear it. Who
So,
cares?
Slay, you'll probably eat down.
Like just because you're not dressing feminine doesn't, it doesn't it doesn't change your sexuality to dress non-feminine. Like you can be non-feminine and still be attracted to men and still want to be in a relationship with a man.
Or just like, and not even being non-feminine. You can want to wear pants every now and again and not prefer to wear dresses or have a more masculine style and still not be gay or not be queer in any way, you know?
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, thanks for listening today, guys. I hope you guys feel a little bit less alone and that you feel like you can be a little bit more yourself in a world that sometimes makes it feel like you can't. If you liked what you heard today, remember to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And until next time, remember to say it anyway.
Say it anyway.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.